Start sequence.
Hey everybody, it's Boys and Most Toys coming at you yet again, and this time we're going to talk more about the small toe ball joints and how to get the current stuff that we get from Mixel sets and newer Lego sets with some of the older stuff and how to integrate it and how to use it in your builds so you can get some cool stuff like that. Anyway, let's get right into it. If you're old enough to remember, we used to get toe balls like this on the 4-wide cars and things like that, and these guys too, and sockets. Now I don't recommend, as well as these fit, they're just too loose to use, so I don't recommend, unless you have a floppy use for that, not to integrate with those pieces. But the toe ball male side, I guess, is very good for integration with the existing parts or the new parts. As you can see, they're very tight, so you can make a good shoulder or something along that line. The other thing you can integrate with, if you remember these from old space sets as well, if you want to have a really wide shoulder or even part of a leg, if you're thinking this way, you can integrate these pieces here. The neat thing about it also, if you want to integrate, as you may have seen in some of my other designs, you can integrate with anything with a Technic hole, so that means you can bring in the Technic universe here, and one of these Technic pins with a ball on it. So now all of a sudden you've got something like you can use for a foot, for example, or an arm or a hand, and then now you have this cool foot and fully articulated on a leg. So that's pretty cool as well. As well, you can use, there's another Technic pin, which is this guy, which if you want to use it with cross-axle bricks, that also works. The other cool thing too, then, now you can integrate into any Technic piece that has a hole on it. So now you can do some weird stuff like making interesting kind of feet like this. So that's also cool. So there's some thoughts as well. And what else? I found some other neat pieces that integrate. So this is some other weird Technic axle pieces. So you can make a really, I guess, wide shoulder base or something like that. Then make your robot's arms come down from here. Other cool tricks, of course, you want to integrate. Once you can integrate your Technic and anything with a Technic pin in, you can pretty much do anything like this. Armor it up, or you've probably seen before the technique I showed you, you can integrate things like feet here and hands, which then give you lots of options to integrate with your system as well. So again, there are a lot of really cool and interesting things you can do. Why don't we just, again, as I said, these ones not so good, but then let's just quickly say yes, these are really good. Anything like this, any ball joint, usually even from the last 50 years, is tight enough to work with. These are also sockets that you can use, and they're not as tight, but they're not as loose as the old sockets. They're newer hitches, and they'll kind of work. You can see here, they're a little loose. So that's also good for shoulder joint, or you can do other things with that, but they're a bit floppy. So I think that's enough for this week. Why don't we get into some weird and wonderful stuff and making some combinations with the old and new in our next episode. So until next time, everyone, happy building. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.